Hello, and welcome to the world of Pokemon. My name is Professor Noki, and you're here once again for the midweek discussion on Noki Talks. Today, we're going to begin with the brand new game that launched this morning, Pokémon Masters. And as some of you may know, had actually launched a little early yesterday, either accidentally or not, and some people had early access to the game. Though, because of this, so many people rushed to download the game that it crashed servers almost immediately, giving those who rushed to download it no access to actually play the game. Though, this server issue was resolved before the official launch this morning. And from the early takes of this game, it looks absolutely fantastic. And one of the most exciting bits of news is that microtransactions are really kept to a bare minimum, which is really surprising in this type of gacha style game, and considering it is a mobile free-to-play game. And the only real microtransactions in the game thus far involve the recruiting of new trainers, which you actually can do without the use of paying. And it looks like when it comes to content and connectivity of this Pokemon game to the others, DNA have done a fantastic job at relating the lore of these games to those from the anime and the core RPG series. And not only that, but they have flushed out so many of these characters much more than we have almost ever seen them before in these other media. And although I've been extremely ecstatic to download this game leading up to its launch, I was very sad this morning to find out that my device does not support it. Which ultimately doesn't surprise me considering I have a pretty outdated Samsung S5, which is over 3 years old at this point and has to be charged about 4 times a day. So it looks like I'll have to live vicariously through everybody online for now until I can get an updated device and I am personally able to play this game. And up next in the Pokemon world, we have the extremely exciting news that Shiny Solgaleo and Lunala will both be distributed in Pokemon Sun, Moon, and Ultra Sun and Moon between October 21st and November 10th. All you have to do to collect these amazing looking shiny Pokemon is stop by a local GameStop location with your Pokemon Pass downloaded on your smartphone, and you'll be able to get the code that'll allow you to bring them into the games. And finally, in regards to Pokemon, we have a rumor that's being picked up on by Cerebi.net, in which the next Pokemon episode of the anime that will air in Japan, called Guzma the Undefeated, will include a major world exclusive announcement. And truly your guess is as good as mine is on this one as to what it could potentially be, but the episode will air on September 1st, which is only a few days away, so we won't have to wait long before we'll all find out what this amazing new information will be. And on now to Marvel. And up first, we have to discuss the Ms. Marvel series that will be coming to the Disney Plus platform, where the co-creator of the original comic books are a little worried that the powers won't translate really well to the live Disney Plus series. They expressed that Camilla and her overall character as Ms. Marvel was truly to glorify the comic book world, that she herself was an extreme comic book and superhero fan, and that her superpowers overall were to pay homage to its expressive and creative characterizations. And that when they were creating this character, they never truly envisioned it beyond the comic book pages. And I definitely can't lie that I actually had this exact thought when I saw them reveal this show for the platform. There have always been certain Marvel characters that the cinematic universe has tried to sidestep or even change a little bit to make their powers and overall themes a little bit more believable with the mainstream audience. Though obviously with all the events that transpired through Infinity War and Endgame and the massive cosmos that's been moving into the cinematic universe, they really have a lot more content and characters to play around with, including those who have origins that aren't necessarily earthly related. So even though I was originally a little skeptical and the comic book co-creator might be skeptical, I really actually think that they could play this off pretty well, and that the direction Marvel is taking has been planned out and is being done for a reason. And speaking of which, there's actually a rumor going around that the next Captain Marvel live-action role played by Brie Larson will probably come in the form of a cameo appearance on the aforementioned Ms. Marvel, which really could bring a lot more credence and explanation as to the strange and obscure and unusual powers that Ms. Marvel possesses. And now on to WandaVision, which was a series that I originally was pretty skeptical and a little hesitant and pretty confused about, as I wasn't quite sure how in the world they were going to bring Vision back from the dead, after it was indeed confirmed that this was taking place in the events after Endgame. But now, as more and more information has continued to come out about this series, it looks like this show is really shaping up to be quite amazing actually. It's now being touted that it's being inspired truly by the Dick Van Dyke Show from the 60s, and turning out to potentially be Marvel's first sitcom of sorts, especially considering the cast that includes the comedic likes of Kathryn Hahn, Kat Dennings, and Randall Park. And my speculation from what has come out regarding its passing through and homage to various television sitcom series is that Wanda is having essentially a psychotic break from losing Vision and projecting this world living with him, which will in some way affect the multiverse negatively and lead to Doctor Strange having to stop her in his upcoming multiverse of madness that she has been confirmed to be a part of. Either way, it looks like this show is going to be absolutely amazing, and I genuinely cannot wait to check it out. And finally, in regards to Marvel, how can we not finish up with the Disney versus Sony controversy that continues to play out right before our very eyes? Where first I would like to make a correction on my previous News with Noki video, where I had stated that Disney proposed a 50-50 term where they would get 50% of the overall profits and pay for 50% of the overall cost of production on all Spider-Man movies. In actuality, it's been coming out that this deal was actually geared as more of a 70-30, with Sony at 70 and Disney 30. And publicly, this has all calmed down a little, with most of these rumors coming out now of continued negotiations taking place. Though some of those in the rumor mill claim that if the real information came out as to why this has happened, fans would be absolutely outraged, leaning more towards being so with Sony. And many from the cast and crew of the Marvel family have given their reactions to the news of Spider-Man possibly and most likely leaving the cinematic universe, to which the likes of people like Kevin Feige have addressed that although it's a little sad to see him go, they never truly intended or thought they'd be able to keep the character forever, and really they had fun with the character while it lasted. Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man, also went on to say that although he himself had a great time working with Marvel and all of the cast and crew from Marvel, he looks forward to continue playing the character and developing what the character will be in the next couple of movies. And as a lot of people have said, this is genuinely just a negotiation tactic in and of itself, because they can't really let on too much sadness or loss in regards to Spider-Man, as when it comes to the negotiation table, that will really take away a lot of their bargaining power. They really have to move on like absolutely nothing is wrong, this is just another day in the life, and that Disney will have no problem moving on, losing one of the greatest assets they had to the Marvel Cinematic Universe moving forward. Though that's not to say I feel like it's doom and gloom if Disney doesn't retain the Spider-Man character. It would just be really great to see Tom Holland continue to interact with many of the beloved characters we've seen thus far. Moving on, we have a little bit of a continued discussion in regards to D23. And firstly, for Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, where the second trailer was finally revealed for the movie. The entire beginning of the trailer really echoed Marvel's approach before Endgame, and how they really tried to pull on everybody's emotional, nostalgic heartstrings by showing the years of built-up moments and memories in the Star Wars universe, leading up to some of the most stunning revelations we've seen thus far for this upcoming movie, including the obvious vision of Dark Rey at the end, and some more subtle ones like Darth Vader's breathing, and even the specific way the scenes were cut and put together with the narration. I know with a lot of the outrage culture as of late, the Star Wars fanbase has been split, much like pretty much the rest of the world and any other topic has been, but I really cannot wait for these movies. I think that J.J. Abrams has taken a lot of time to try to piece together the finale of this series, and I'm really excited to see how they bring it to a close. Moving on now, there were a couple of brand new Disney movies that were revealed at this event. This included Raya and the Last Dragon, Onward, which stars Chris Pratt and Tom Holland, and Cruella, starring Emma Stone. All of which seem to have the potential to really become true Disney classics. And wrapping up for D23, we have the Disney Plus streaming service, which I'd like to start out by correcting my initial confusion regarding Lady and the Tramp, which is indeed a series. They also revealed that Lizzie McGuire will be making its triumphant return, with none other than Hilary Duff reprising her role as a matured Lizzie. I was never an avid fan of this show, but I did watch it on and off throughout my upbringing, and it's really exciting to see them delving back into the 90s nostalgia and pulling out some of these diamonds in the rough and remaking them, reprising them, and really truly bringing life back to the series for a new generation to enjoy. Which perfectly leads me to the final point from the D23 convention that I'd like to talk about, which was the announcement of the Clone Wars animated series triumphant return. which very well could have been one of the greatest moves that Disney's Star Wars has made as of late to return people back to the fan base, as people have been pleading and begging for this series to return for years. I never had access to fully watch the show from beginning to end when it was on television. However, with its return, I would absolutely love to go back and watch it from its beginning, and cannot wait for them to bring it back on Disney+. But that's gonna wrap up the discussion for today. I thoroughly hope you enjoyed this content. Let me know in the comments down below what you're most excited about in the coming months. And don't forget to tune in on Sunday for the News with Noki, where I'll be breaking down even more information regarding Pokemon and all my favorite content from the nerd world. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, this has been Professor Noki signing out once again for Noki Talks.